Another one is to compare how you're doing, so that, like for example, say you were looking in sales in December 2009, should we compare them with December 2008 or with November 2009? So if we want really to know what's going on, whether there's a downturn or whatever, we should compare with the previous December, not with the month before. Or in fact what we would do is use a graph or whatever, and there's all sorts of fancy things you can do with time series that we don't make you do, but you can do it in a course at stage 3 where we teach about time series and forecasting. Okay, so I want you to have a look at that and decide whether you think they will have seasonality, and if so, what length. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. I was hoping to show you the Reserve Bank website, but I don't know if I can get out from here, so maybe not. Okay, let's have a look at this. Do you think the annual road toll would show seasonality? Hands up if you say yes. Hands up if you say no. No is correct. Okay. Now those of you who said yes, which was about half of you, what you're thinking about is not annual. I would say you're possibly thinking about monthly road toll, that you're thinking maybe in the winter more people get killed than in the summer. Would that be correct? Like half of you said yes, and the answer is no, so I'm interested to know why you said yes.
What about Easter and stuff? Christmas holiday.
Exactly. Okay, so if your data was monthly, then it would show seasonality because you would have more around holidays. But if this is annual, what we're saying is that you would have the 2008 data, the 2009 data, the 2010 data. So out of those, there's not going to be a cycle of 3 years or 5 years or something like that. So what you have to think about here is this is annual data, it's just every year. So that's the tricky bit when you're thinking about seasonality. Might come clear when we do the next one. So average monthly temperature, is that going to show seasonality? Hands up if you think yes. Hands up if you think no. Okay, no it is. Average monthly temperature, because it's going to be, if you think about the data, you're going to go January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, whatever. Okay, and so if you think about it, it's going to be, say, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and it'll go like that. And then when it gets around to January again, it'll start repeating that shape. So yes, whereas the annual road toll would be like 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, and so on. So it could go down or it could go up, but it isn't going to cycle around the years. Okay, daily petrol price at the pump. Okay, have a think about it. If you think it's got seasonality, yes? No. Okay, the ones who say no are correct. Not so. If you think about it, we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Sometimes it might go up around the weekend, but it doesn't always, or go down. It seems to go up and down all over the place, petrol price. I may be wrong at that one, but to me it's not really to do with what day of the week it happens. Okay, what about hourly electricity consumption in a home? So let's start at, say, 8 a.m, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, would there be a time every day when you would use more electricity? Okay, when would that be? Do you think, Anna?
Yeah, the shower when you're cooking tea, like daytime or morning, nighttime.
Exactly. There are two peaks. There's the morning one. It starts about 7 a.m. where everybody gets up and has the shower, turns on the jug, turns on the toaster, turns on the heaters, all of that sort of stuff. So there will be a peak about here probably. And then when people are away during the day, it will be very low. And then when people start to come home, and then there's another big peak cooking dinner. And that same cycle will happen every day. It might be a little bit different over the weekend, but generally there'll be the same cycle, and you don't use much electricity at night. So what would the cycle length for that one be? What do you think? How often is the cycle going to repeat? It's going to repeat every day. So we're saying that every day the pattern is the same. So how many hours in a day? 24. So our cycle is going to be, so yes, and it's going to be 24. So that's yes, and it's going to be 12. Okay, daily takings at a fish and chip shop. Okay, that's pretty much like one of my examples. If you think about it, we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so on. Would you expect any days at a fish and chip shop to be higher than the others? Weekends? Everybody wants to buy their fish and chips on Friday because who can be bothered cooking on Friday or Saturday? So it's going to have the same repeating cycle every week. So our daily takings will show seasonality. So this will be yes. And how long's the seasonality going to be? 7. Good, we're getting there. Okay, quarterly house sales. So quarterly means, so we've got the January to whatever, and then the next 3 blocks of 3 months. Houses sell far more in the summer. There's always a slump over winter when people don't want to buy houses. So the answer to this one is yes. And what will a seasonality be? What number? 4. Because every year the cycle goes over and seasons go round and round. So it's not quite as straightforward as you think. You've got to think about how long is it before it repeats, and how many intervals do I have in that time before it repeats. Okay, so that's when you're looking at the ideas. So you'll go in the testing sessions, you're going to be drawing graphs of some data and deciding, do they show seasonality and do they show trend? Okay, so here, this is monthly visitor arrivals. So this is people arriving in New Zealand from overseas. Okay, just at first glance, it looks as if there's seasonality because you can see pretty much the same shape repeated. We're not looking at this one, the seasonally adjusted, we're just looking at the peaky one here. Because what the Department of Statistics does is it finds out the indices, like it finds out what do you multiply your average amount by to get your December takings or whatever, and they get these indices and they seasonally adjust, and so they can end up with a flattish line so that you can then see whether things are generally going up or down. Whereas when you're looking at this squiggly line, it's much harder to get an idea of what the trend is. Okay, so just looking at the squiggly line, is it sensible? Okay, so this is monthly visitor arrivals. And this is the thing about statistics, is that the context is really important. The story behind it really matters. In mathematics, they try to remove the context as much as possible, and you use letters and stuff like that. But in statistics, without the context, there is no statistics. There is no point in teaching you the theory of how to find a mean if there's no story to go with it. So here we think about monthly visitor arrivals. Okay, is there a time of year when you would expect more people to come to New Zealand? Yes, they would come in the summer. There'll be the skiers in winter, but there won't be as many as the summer ones. Okay, and we have a look here, and we see, yes, there is a repeating pattern, so yes, it is sensible. And the other thing you do is you check the distance between the high points. So you find a high point and another high point, and you see, do they occur the same length apart? Because if they don't, like if say there's a high point and then there's 3 and then there's another high point and then there's 7 and another high point and then 10 and another high point, that's not seasonality, that's just something else. Seasonality, the peaks, the pattern has to occur exactly the same number of periods apart. So this one here, it's going to be 12 between the Januaries, and so we can say yes, it is shows monthly seasonality.